Welcome to part 2 of how to get measurements out of 3ds Max, and I'm going to now show you how to quickly, more easily do things, pieces of wood or shapes that are box shaped. So I'll unhide my cabinet, and let me see. So this one here, maybe, just get out of that sub-object mode, click on that. If you stick with actual boxes, as in a box that you go create, 3D objects, box, where are we drawing to? Draw to the default layer, that sounds good. Draw to the default layer. Okay, we're going to draw a box, stick with the actual box, box, basic 3ds Max box. You can use these as the size, and you go to the hardware store or you go online and you find out the thickness of MDF is 16 mils or 1.6 centimeters, and from there you can take your whatever sizes you want your piece of wood to be. So that's what I did here. And for this piece of wood, so if you look over here on the modify tab, we got a length of 30 and a width of 72 centimeters, and the height is 1.5. It's 1.6 centimeters really, but I put 1.5. I don't know why. It was a while ago. So where was I? You want to use boxes to keep the measurement. Oh yeah, so this width here, I mean this is specific to this particular project, but when I was sizing up the room, I need enough to fit the TV, enough to put some space to allow me some leeway to make mistakes and all the bits, not to make it too snug. 72 centimeters when I rounded up was and you always want to you want to have a whole figure because it makes measuring things easier. You will see some numbers in there that are not dead on the centimeter, but sometimes when you can, it makes it easier, because I know that because this gap here is 72 centimeters wide, that means all these boards in between are going to be 72 centimeters in their width. So it's easy. You can just type that in. So yeah, as you can see, this is just like what I typed in before, where you make the box and you set all the size, the dimensions. So yeah, that's good. You can just take those measurements straight out when you go to make your let's draw on our dummy measurement layer, our temp layer. So if we needed to add, it won't fit on this one, I think. Well, I'll make a new one. Let me see. Create layer. Temp 2. And has it got anything? Oh, of course it does. Should not have done that. Should have copied this first, then made the layer. Would have been a bit more. Things would have gone a bit smoother. But anyway, there we are. We have temp 2. That's our. So yeah, we can just make our 72 by 30. Go 2D objects, rectangle. There we are. Width 72. Length is 30. Find maxes seems to be in reverse. So what you do with square things like this, especially ones that are all conveniently this similar width, you could just stack them end to end like this. Use snapping and to get things lined up. Move tool. There we go. But when you're cutting, I'll just turn off the cabinet. Oops. When you're cutting, the blade cuts out 3 mil of wood as it cuts through, so you can't have them butting up against each other. And the way I laid them out on my plan is I just sort of eyeballed, I just moved them apart. Let's pretend this one's a bit longer. Yeah, about that long, 50 centimeters. Sounds good. 50 centimeters. And I didn't just, you don't want to snap it right up against, because, well, you can, but you won't be doing that in real life because you're going to lose 3 mil when you cut through. So You just want to stack. You don't have to be accurate though. You just want to have them pretty close together. And I just left a gap to remind myself that I'm going to lose 3 mil, but I don't care about the exact measurement. It's unlikely that's not going to make a difference in the end. I'm going to get all these boards and stack them end to end, and whatever fits. And it means when I'm cutting them, I'm just going to take the. I'm going to click on this on my laptop that I brought with me, and it's going to be. Well, I'm going to mark out 72 and just draw a big straight line down. And then I'm going to measure down from the top or wherever I prefer to start, and 30 centimeters. Mark that off, cut that off there. So I've already lost the extra 3 mil, so I don't have to factor that in because it's been cut off. So the next one I can just measure from what's left from the cut and measure 50 centimeters. So I mark it off here, cut it away, and I can cut on the outside of the line so that it is exactly 50 mil. And the material on the outside of the line is what's thrown away, not part of the actual thing I want to cut. So that's pretty easy. So long as you work in a way that all of your board-shaped pieces are a box, or they start life out as a box. Sometimes I'll go to the next level. Sometimes you just want a little hole cut in the box. You know, like a speaker hole or something. And that's a tool called Pro Boolean. You may have heard of the term Boolean subtraction if you're used to 3D software, but I'll give you a quick rundown. Real quick. Let's hide some stuff. Let's pretend I've got a bit of MDF I modeled up here, so it's going to be 1.6 centimeters thick, and I don't care what the rest of it is. Just say I want a hole in there. Like if you look, I'll show you my control panel. I'll just extract the piece that is cutting that hole out, and look at that. You can move the hole around Bugs Bunny style. So that's cutting it out in real time. So if I decide the hole needs to be somewhere else, I can put that wherever I want, anytime, which is awesome. And it saves you having to edit things manually. So the way you do that, and this is good for small changes, maybe not huge wacky shapes like this. I don't think I would craft that wacky shape out of the whole control panel out of a Boolean subtraction. It's neither the side walls of the monitor, but yeah, it looks a little like this. So you have your piece you want to cut from. You make a piece that you want to cut out. Maybe we want to cut like a slat type of where we're going to stick another piece of wood into. So I make it 1.5, but I probably would make it a bit thicker than that, but because it wouldn't exactly fit. But anyways, I'll just put it just cutting into the edge there like that. Now here's what you got to do. You got to go through this little ritual. It's stupid, but here's how it works. You don't go to Modifier tab like you might think. You stay on Go Creative tab. You click the drop down. You go Compound Objects. You go over not to Boolean but to Pro Boolean because it just is programmed better. Max never replaces things. They just add and add and add. Start picking. Click the Start Picking button and pick the thing you want to subtract. This works with multiple objects. And in this case, it didn't work at all because I had the wrong object selected. So, what you're supposed to do is have the object you want to subtract from selected. Put them into position. Put the one you want to cut with into position. We'll just do that again. From Compound Objects, Pro Boolean. Now it has like it's weird. It's not a modifier like you think it would be. It's like some kind of a container. And the way you get into it is you expand the Pro Boolean, click on operands, and down here are the original objects that it's made of, which is currently 1. Anyway, if you click Start Picking here, you can pick any object, and by default it's going to cut from it. That's set here. So I'm going to click that little wedge piece away. Right. And that's not permanent. That's the Wile E. Coyote Warner Brothers type hole, which you can move around, which for some reason isn't letting me do it right now. There we go. See that? It's pretty awesome. So with that, it's kind of a bit weird. Okay, you can get your measurements out, but you got to get in there first. You click on the object, it's a pro boolean, you click on operand. When you click on operand, down here you can click on the objects that make up the pro boolean compound object, and union is the first one, the one that you clicked on. The rest are little pieces, and if you name them well, you might find your way around. But I'm clicking on union, and from that I can go back up here because it changes what's below every time you click on one of the sub objects. I know that says box, but that's because they're both called box. Good on you, Beth. She's going to get into programming. I gave her a programming video. Now, box, yes, because I clicked on it. That's alright, I get the idea. Yeah, I got the original sizes still there, which wouldn't be preserved if I did it the other way, which I probably should have showed you first, but I'll do it now. Yeah, so I can get its length, 157 centimeters, 75. But normally we don't do that. Now, if it's a really complex shape, this is what you're going to have to do anyway, where you make some modifications, and I'll just convert to editable poly, because that's what we do a lot when we're modeling in, well, anything nowadays. You just you might have some it's green, it's not going to show up. I'll put red, dark red. Yeah, and that still didn't work. Like, I don't know what's going on. Polygon, Swift loop. Nope, it doesn't want to do it today. Okay, probably because I already cut into it and it's being weird. That's dumb. That's all right. Let's get the cut tool. Cut. I'm just going to do a really rough, ugly. I'm over it. Cut. Come on. There. The slice plane tool would be a better job for this, but I'm trying to, get this happening. Vertex. Why can't I select all those? Oh, I'm in cut mode. There we go. I don't know, we'll just make up a shape here. The point is that it's a regular, and when you click on it, there is no information about the size. It's just a collection of points. So in this case, what you need to do is use the measuring tool. Now, I would bind it. It's up here in Tools, Measure Distance. I would bind it to a shortcut key. Real quick, I'll do it now. Customize user interface. I'm going to choose Control D because Control D is bound to deselect, and I can deselect anything by clicking out an open space, so I don't care about that. Measure. I typed MEA, it selected it. If I press Control D, it warns me that Control D is assigned to select none. I'll just, with measure distance and Control D set, I'll hit assign. Now measure distance is assigned to Control D. Fantastic. Now you want to use measure distance with the snapping of vertices on, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. It's going to have to be very accurate. So I want to hit like the top corner of this, not the bottom corner one time, the top corner the next time. So don't worry about the dotted line, it kind of bugs out. I've clicked on that top one, and I click on this one. What does it say? 157 centimeters. Sound about right? So you can measure distances like that, and if you need a box with a weird shape cut out of it, maybe it's not like this, but yeah, you can get measurements out that way. So that about wraps it up. I got 1 minute left before I reach the YouTube limit, so I better wind up. But I think we covered everything. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free to watch it again if you missed something, because I was rushing through. But that should get you through to create all your plans, and you can take them to the hardware store and measure them out and cut them up. Yeah, things are at different depths. It doesn't really matter because we're looking at it side view, 2D. So, good luck, and let me know what you thought in the comments, and ask any questions at all. Happy to help. Have fun.